Welcome to the Hamsi Analytics Daily Market Commentary. I'm Paulo Navarro. Today is Tuesday, July 24th, 2012. For the market internals, the New York Stock Exchange advanced decline differential closed at negative 1,408. Nasdaq advanced decline differential closed at negative 1,078. There were two new 52-week highs for the S&P 500 and 21 new 52-week lows for the S&P 500. Not a very good action here on the highs versus lows for the S&P. For the volatility, we saw 435,000 contracts traded on the VIX with 65 million in total premiums paid. For the dollar-weighted put-call ratio in August, we saw a 0.42 reading with 53% of the total premiums paid, which is a bearish reading. On September, we saw a 0.11 with 36% of the total premiums paid, again another bearish reading. Here we have the daily chart for SPX, another down day, almost down 1% lower, 12 handles, and we did not finish at the lows of the day. Right now, here we're looking at the 0 sigma acting as resistance on the highs of the day. So it's going to be critical tomorrow to watch this 1352.50 level as some support, some resistance on the upside. On the downside, we're looking at the 1332 level, which is around here at negative 1 sigma, which is also the 50-day moving average. Today we broke it intraday, and then we did not close below. If we do break those lines, we're watching here the 1320 or the 1315, which is the 200-day moving average for SPX. So 220, 215 SPX, 200-day moving average. Here on CI, pointing now lower, and you can see here CI did clearly now pointing lower. We're going to watch here on the intraday action for SPX. We're going to look at the 30-minute chart. You can see pretty much the whole day we were selling off, making new lows throughout the day, and then 1 hour and a half before the close, market just picked up because a rumor that the Fed was going to do more buying, and then we bought some of the lows, finishing almost here at 0 sig on the 30-minute chart. Again, you can see here this trend line that 0 sig is acting as was resistance since yesterday. We could not break it to the upside anytime. So again, we did finish up somewhat off the lows, but still pretty bad day here overall on the market. For SPY and get some targets here, we're looking at the 135.3 as being resistance on the upside, and then we're looking for the 132 and 130 as being the targets on the downside. You could see also CI pointing now downwards, and CI dip now starting to dip almost to negative territory. Again, we're watching some bearish action here on the last couple of days, so we're gonna have to see what happens. We confirmed the double top here. It was somewhat of a lower top, but again, we're now looking to see what happens. We just broke here, basically broke this level for a while, but could not close, so we're watching below those levels. If we do break this level, it's gonna be critical here to watch the 200-day moving average on SPY, which is at 131.70. So we first have to take this negative 2 sigma out, and then we will be looking for the 131.70 of the 200-day moving average. Those are going to be pretty important levels here on the SPY. For a shorter time frame, we will look at the 60-minute. You could see here we are not being able to cross 0 sigma to the upside. Pretty critical gap downs a couple of times already here in the last couple of days. We're looking for 131.4 as the downside target, and the upper resistance would be 135, which is the 0 sig. A close above here would eliminate the downward resistance here. Here we have the NQ futures, Nasdaq futures, as you can see here, having a huge hit today here after the futures reopened. That was because of Apple came out with not quite the estimate that everyone wanted to see. Stock got hit pretty hard, and the futures of the Nasdaq are getting hit as well. We're down 1% or 27 handles on the Nasdaq futures so far. So we're gonna see what happens here overall overnight with the futures and the Nasdaq and the S&P. Here we have also the Nasdaq futures. We're gonna see here what's happening. Again, as I mentioned, we were down 1% because of Apple. But here I just want to point out we're at a pretty important point here. Some support finding here. We're gonna watch this 1260 level, and then we're watching here right now where we are at the 2521 level right now. We have some support here overall. Some couple of days here we have been acted on support on the longer term on the days view. We're almost at -2 sigma soon, and then we have the 200-day moving average of 2490. Around those levels are going to be critical here for the Nasdaq futures to hold. Looks like they're holding right now, already down 27 points as I mentioned, so pretty good hit on the after hours today. Here we have GLD daily chart. We have an outside day. We were selling pretty hard on the opening, and then we bounced back up, finishing down for the day, but still a red bar, but some type of hammer here and an outside bar. We're gonna see here if this is gonna be the reversal we're waiting for and breaking this to the upside, or if we're gonna just stay in the same range that we have been so far on the 156, 157 to 150. We're again on the same range, up 0.22%, so basically nothing happening here in gold so far. For VIX, here we have the daily chart for VIX, up 9% today after the huge update to yesterday. 20.47 right now at +2 sigma. We are not seeing +3 sigma, which is pretty common on the upside of VIX. So we do not know if yet we have some. We're looking for 24 level here as the target on VIX on the daily chart. This is not gonna be tomorrow, of course, but that's gonna be the target on VIX on the upside. And we would like to see VIX below 0.6 or 1770 again for the market to continue its upward trend. We're gonna look here at Apple chart to see what's going on after hours. Here we have the 60-minute chart for Apple. You can see here this huge down bar, now trading at 569, 570. Really big drop here on the after hours, down almost 6% for Apple after not delivering what analysts expected. So it's going to be critical here to watch what Apple does and the Nasdaq also. For the longer term view on Apple, here we have the daily chart. You could see here that we stopped exactly at 0 sigma on the cash session, and then we sold off to 570, which is around here, the -2 sigma. We're at these levels right now. We're gonna see what happens here. So it's gonna be very interesting if we're gonna keep on dropping, maybe take out the 560 level, which is the -3 sigma, or we are gonna come out and bounce from here. If we look here also at a longer term view on here on the weekly chart for Apple, we see that we are right now almost at -1 sigma. Right now at 570 level here, we broke 0.6. We're looking for the 563 level. It's gonna be critical to hold, and from there we're gonna look at what the 0 sigma does on the weekly chart. That's gonna be our upper resistance. And we're gonna be looking at the -1 sigma. Maybe if we get into a channel, start selling somewhat here, maybe get into a channel and get some targets there. So we're gonna keep an eye here on Apple so far. Another important number that came out today was Netflix. You could see here also huge downward pressure. We're down almost 14%, 13.5 right now, trading at 69.17 after they guided in line. Estimates on the EPS were better than expected, but looks like they had some comments about the revenue. So here Netflix again down 13.5%. We're gonna look at a longer term chart to see what's happening here with Netflix. Okay, on the daily chart, we're right now trading at 69, which puts us around here. We're gonna have some resistance here on this upper negative 1 sigma of 171. We're gonna see what we open tomorrow, and below that we're looking for 6470, and if we do break 58 or 60 would be the last target here. So we're looking for a lower price of 64.7 on Netflix here. That would be pretty much in line with the lows that we've made here on Netflix. The 60 level we just mentioned, those are pretty much the lows of the 52-week. On the weekly chart for Netflix, here you can see we're having trouble going through 0 sigma at 80, and now we just broke below. So our next target on the weekly chart is 66, and then we're looking for 50. So again, we're looking for 66 level and then 60 on Netflix. On the daily chart, pretty similar levels, around 55, 56, and then the 60 level here. We have a special offer by TradeStation. Get your Hamsi Analytics proprietary indicators paid by TradeStation. Contact Active Traders office in Chicago, Peter Albino, at the number listed below. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.